Hello again. Today I thought I'd show you something new I've learned, which is how to make characters hold stuff and interact with stuff in cutscenes. And for the occasion, we will have a chat with this guy, currently nameless. Perhaps you've seen him before. Perhaps we are hundreds of years in the past. But I thought I'd make him hold something. So for those of you who have seen a couple of my videos, what I'm doing now is I've made a new dialogue with Cassador, and I've named it Cassador Chat number 2, and we will assign it to him. So let's first just generate the timeline. Cassador Chat number 2. Okay, so we have assigned it to him. Alright, so what you can see here is how I prefer to edit the timelines. I try to keep a square area here, a square area here, and a square area here. I'll try to zoom in on the relevant parts. You can arrange this any way you like. This is just how I prefer to do it. So now we've just generated the timeline with the template file that we know looks like a typical Larian dialogue. And yeah, so the dialogue should be saved. And what's going to happen in this dialogue? Well, we'll see, won't we? Let's talk to him. So he's wondering if I have something for him. Yes, I do. Yeah, lovely thing. And he studies the flower. So we are going to give him a flower. And so how do we do that? Alright, so we want this guy to hold a flower. It could be anything, it could be a rat, it could be whatever. But what we need then is the actual flower. And we need an animation for him to hold it, right? So we can see it when we're talking to him. And there are several ways to do this. So if you go up here, you can add an actor. That flower could also be part of the timeline. If it had something to say, you could add it in the dialogues. But the easiest way by far to do this is to add it as a template. So let's see if we can find the flower. This looks a bit mysterious when you start it up the first time, but let's just see. So there are not so many free flowers in the... Oh, shit. There are not so many flowers in the game. So I think the most reasonable flower in the game to hold might be this one. So let's put that in as a template. So you see a timeline template has shown up. Let's just expand everything here, and let's then try to find an animation that's suitable for holding the flower. So when editing timelines, you will see the responses from the character you're talking to. He's wondering if you have something. So what we can do here is just make him a bit happy, maybe? Curious? Yeah, okay. So we have the flower. He has some facial expressions that seem reasonable. Let's add an animation. We can put it on his body. Let's search for something that would be suitable. Right, so let's have a look at this animation where we're inspecting a ring. Yeah, so it's quite a long animation, and he's not going to take the flower out of his pocket, right? So let's just start it here. So how do we do that? We can actually cut this animation. Just go to edit and split. Don't do too many things at once while doing this, because this is one of the occasions where the toolkit might crash. But if you do it carefully and remember to save, it's usually fine. Yeah. So maybe we do it like so. That's fine. We can also cut it at the end here. Split it. Okay. Okay, so while you were away, I actually did a thing. So do you notice now that these two different tracks in the playlist are now one, right? So we now have both of them together, and since this is a quite long animation, that's very useful, because then I can keep running the animation. So how did I do that? I went back into the dialog file, Yeah, here it is. And if you allow grouping of these two nodes, then they will show up as one track in the timeline. So just remember to refresh the timeline if you do that. And yeah, so now this one should play like this. We are going to change his facial expression. It's that smile is disturbing if it's for too long. So we just move this over here. Maybe he'll be really happy at the start. Yeah. Okay, and now he's just slightly happy. Okay, let's add the flower. So to add the flower to the scene, I will do two things. We will have to add a transform. We should add a parent point. It should be at the start of the scene. You want him to hold it right away, right? That parent point will be Cazador. And we want to, very importantly, show this actor. Yeah. And now usually the flower would have appeared. Let's see what's happening. In the parent point, we actually want to add a bone. So thankfully someone on the Discord helped me with this, because it's a bit hard to see that you can put something here, but you can. And you want to put the right hand, the correct hand, which would be the right hand. And apparently doesn't really matter which one of these you pick. You can, let's just see if it showed up now. No, I don't know where the flower is. You can add a hand to him as well. So I added a hand track for Cazador. Seems reasonable. Show actor, da da da. Now, where is the flower? All right, so we have everything we need. And now the confusing thing is, where is the flower? So one thing I've noticed is that if you just set all of these translation values, like where the item is in the world, to 0 now, the parent point will be his hand. So have a look at what happens now on the right side of the screen. Please don't crash. Yeah, there we go. All right, so Cazador now has a flower attached through his hand, which means we are very close to what we want to do. Let's see if the rotation, just let's set it to 0. All right, so we're very close. So the flower is quite large. We might want to change the scale, and then we want to adjust these values a little bit, right? So just press play. Figure out where you would like to adjust this. And then let's try to move this flower a little bit. Right, so if you rotate it, it's quite large still. So he's standing now in the sunlight, right? So it's very shadowy. So we can go here to select base color. I don't know why Cazador is hairy. He's not supposed to be, but I mean, they did remove his beard. So perhaps he is actually quite a hairy elf. So now it's a little bit easier to see what's going on. If you click on anything here but the nodes, then the animation will start, will stop again. So just be very careful when you click, and we can try to change these values. Whoop, 1 is way too far off, maybe 1.1. No? 1.2. 0.1. Yeah, getting close. So I think we've aligned the flower reasonably well. So to summarize, what did we need to do this? Except the timeline, dialogue, and everything. Add a hand to Cazador. Add the flower animation for holding the flower. Then go into add template for the easiest way of doing this. Find the flower. It will then be added as a timeline template. It's very important that you add the show actor and activate it. That will make the flower template appear in the universe. Add Cazador as the parent point and ensure that you add a hand, for example, his hand AK, as the target bone. Then adjust these values until the flower is in the right place. and it will then follow his hand movements. And a nice trick here is to just set all of these values to 0, because then the item will usually appear in or very close to the target's hand or whatever you've set as the parent point. So let's have a look and see how it works. Yeah, so, well, his finger is stuffed through the flower, but you see the point, right? So it is quite easy to add items to cutscenes. I hope you enjoyed.